Good morning, friends. If you haven't looked over there above where the sound booth is, look at that nice shadow of nature being projected across the room. It's pretty amazing. Every time I looked up, I'm like, that's a great lighting effect. Let's sing a morning song together out of the gray hymnal, hymn number 212, We Are Dancing Sarah's Circle. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit. The lyrics will be projected up here, and if you're joining us online, you'll find the lyrics posted in the chat. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. Family, neighbors, all. Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history. Family, neighbors, all. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming. Family, neighbors, all. Every round a generation. Every round a generation. Every round a generation. Family, neighbors, all. On and on the circles moving. On and on the circles moving. On and on the circles moving. Family, neighbors, all. Thank you for singing.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. We're very glad you're here with us. My name is Christine Park, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me this morning is our guest minister, Reverend Linda Hart, and Troy Fisher, our music director. Linda is a lifelong UU and was ordained 41 years ago. She worked with homeless teens in Chicago and has served congregations in Vermont, Connecticut, Spokane, London, Marysville, Tacoma, and Port Townsend. Linda retired from ministry at the end of June, and now she is looking for fun things to do with all her time. We're glad you're here, Linda, and we hope you have fun today. You are welcome here, just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways that you are still becoming you. Here are a few things to know about our service today so you can feel welcome. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, on this screen in front, you'll be able to see the AI-generated subtitles, as well as the song lyrics, and on Zoom for those online. Over here are soft chairs and activities for hands so everyone can be comfy. We are a multi-generational community, and we welcome people of all ages in the sanctuary. There is also nursery care and a storytime program for children in the classroom wing. So please be where you are most comfortable. As always, we are grateful for the many people that helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to all of you who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by the speaker. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. For those in person, please stay and join us for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. We have one announcement this morning. There will be a concert by guitarist Hiroya Tsukamoto next Sunday, August 17th at 7:00 p.m. Hiroya has visited OUUC for several years and offers a magical evening of music. The concert will be here, and donations will be welcome. The concert will also be Zoomed, and you can find the link on our webpage. As you probably know, many things are happening here at OUUC. You can check out the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition, with these words by Reverend Cindy Landrum. Flame of our faith, call us into the community of love and justice this morning and every morning.
I'm used to a hymn after the opening words and that. But yes, oh, sorry. Dang, I did this really well the first time. Sometimes. Just look at each other. Yeah. Let me just smile and move through this. Thank you. I'm really good at moving along and not looking like I've screwed up. Really good at it. Our words are from Joe Von Rue and Lynette Lowe. Welcome to this space, this sanctuary of peace, where we come not only to create our best selves, but to also do the work of created, beloved community. We come together today as individuals, much like individual pieces of glass or pottery that are different shapes, sizes, and colors, all of which are broken with imperfect, jagged edges, but always beautiful. While our pieces may not always fit neatly together, it is within this sanctuary, guided by our values, that we gather to create a beautiful mosaic. May the brokenness and beauty you find in one another create peace in this space and fill our hearts with love as we create worship together. Come, let us worship, and let us begin with song.
Now let's sing a song together. Out of the gray hymnal, this is hymn number 182, Oh, the Beauty in a Life. The music is a traditional Filipino folk tune, and I'm just going to play it through once so that you can get it. It's real singable, and it's a lovely hymn. I invite you to rise in body and spirit, and let's give this a go. Just Let not service of the good be confined to great saints alone, but every hour be part of all our daily living. Set not on hope of wisdom's rays beyond our ken. How wide the path, how close the goal, which love has shown. Oh, the beauty of a life that illumines care of the soul, that knows a love that is for self as well as others, that every day embodies praise for every good. This is the faith to which we turn our God and goal. Lovely. Thank you.
All right, we have a story today, and I'm a former child daycare director. I'm used to reading stories flopped on my stomach with the book open, with the kids all circled around. Unfortunately, we can't do it that way today. But I still want to be kind of out here with my book, because that's how I read a story. And this is, What Do You Do with a Chance? Let's jump in. One day I got a chance. It just seemed to show up. It acted like it knew me, as if it wanted something. I didn't know why it was there. What do you do with a chance, I wondered. It fluttered around me, it brushed up against me, it circled me as if it wanted me to grab it. I started to try to reach for it, but I was unsure and I pulled back, and so it flew away. Ah. Feel free to express during the reading. All right, here we go. I thought about it a lot. I wished I had taken my chance. I realized I had wanted it, but I still didn't know if I had the courage. When another chance came around, I wasn't so sure, but I decided to try. I went to reach for it, but I missed it and fell. I was embarrassed. I felt foolish. It seemed like everyone was looking at me. Oh, you guys are good. I decided I never wanted to feel this way again. So after that, whenever a chance came along, I ignored it. And the more I ignored them, the less they came around. Oh my gosh, this is getting sadder as we go. I hope it gets better. One day I noticed that I hadn't seen a chance in quite a while. It was as if they all had disappeared. I started to worry, what if I don't get another chance? I know I acted like I didn't care, but the truth was I did. I still wanted to take a chance, but I was afraid, and I wasn't sure if I would ever be brave enough. Then I thought, maybe I don't have to be brave all the time. Maybe I just need to be brave at the right time. I realized it was up to me. That's what I say, uh-oh. Huh. I promised myself that if I ever got another chance, I wasn't going to hold back. If I got another chance, I was going to be ready. Then, one seemingly ordinary day, I saw something shining far off in the distance. Is it possible, I hoped? Could this be my chance? I had to find out. I ran as hard and as fast as I could toward it. I don't know how to explain it, but the second I let go of my fears, I was full of excitement. It wasn't that I was no longer afraid, but now my excitement was bigger than my fear. As I got closer, I could see that this was really a huge chance. But this time I was ready. As it came by, I reached out and grabbed it and held on with all my might. Oh, come on. There we go. It felt good to soar, to fly, to be freed. I now see that when I hold back, I miss out, and I don't want to miss out. There's just so much I want to see and do and discover. So what do you do with a chance? You take it, because it just might be the start of something incredible. Yay! And that's our story for today.
Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude. We join together in service to our community, as well as to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and together, when we combine our gifts, we are able to do more than any of us can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us. We are grateful for the relationships in our lives and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest. We do not expect you to contribute. But if you do want to be part of our offering, what you share will be appreciated. The offering collected here works in two ways. Half supports the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by our regular pledges. The other half of our offering goes to charity. Most is shared with an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. And a small portion goes to the OUUC Ministers Benevolence Fund to support the more urgent needs in our community. Our Share the Plate organization for August is GRUB, Garden Raised Bounty, which is our neighbor just down the street this way. Here is information about their program, Growing Home Collective.
Good morning, Olympia UU congregation. I'm Carenza Mabwa, the program manager for GRUB's Growing Home Collective, and this program grew out of a series of Black community listening sessions in 2021 on how GRUB could better support the Black community around foodways, food history, cultural, and land. And as an affinity program led by an all-Black advisory group, the programming is by, for, and with the Black community. Participants get to experience the gift of connection and to relax and be fully present in the richness of cultural knowledge and skill sharing. We consider this a wellness antidote to the assimilation, minimization, and erasure that's often experienced living in the dominant culture. And impacts of oppression and white supremacist redlining practices are still present. This is a sacred space that we create where we're normalizing shared lived experience and expertise. Participants are Black members, alumni of GRUB's programs, partner organizations, and various resource networks we're growing locally and regionally. So from foraging wild plants to making herbal medicine and cooking, remembering ancestral foodways, celebrations, we grow food on the farm. Families and elders, individuals get to join in building power and leadership and healing their relationship to the land and food, as well as reclaiming untold contributions that Black folks have made to all of our story. So stories. Sometimes we hear Black people say they never knew how much they needed this kind of space until they arrived. Some children who've always been a minority in school look around and say, everyone is Black and they're beautiful. Kiddos get to pick and learn cooking and eat fresh herbs and veggies. And people realize they have skills to share and join us. So how can you help? Some of you attended our Juneteenth celebration. That's our one public celebration for all. And we threw down a soul food feast you don't want to miss next year. Please consider doing outreach or volunteering for it. Donate. Your gifts will go to our workshop costs and honorariums for the advisory group and guest presenters. Thank you.
May the offering now be generously given, as it is always gratefully received. Thank you for your generosity in all the ways that you share your gifts. This morning, we do what humans have done for all of our existence. We gather in times of worry and anxiety, and in times of celebration and joy. We come into our community bringing all that is on our minds and in our hearts. So let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat. Allow its resonance into your body. It is the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of community. Right now, I invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the air in your body. Feel the earth beneath us. Really feel the warmth of connection. Arlene Kohlrich shares that her husband Bob died on Tuesday, August 5th, from complications following heart surgery. Bob had been doing well and hoping to return home soon, so this was an unexpected loss for Arlene and her family. They are planning a celebration of life for Bob near Oakville, where they live. Arlene knows that we send our love and care to her and to her family, with the hope that Bob's spirit is at peace. Mary Wildenhouse shares that her oldest son, Dan, died suddenly on August 2nd from a heart attack. Mary's family and friends are offering to support to each other, and especially Dan's wife of 4 years. We send our love and care to Mary and her family as they mourn this loss. Dan, may your spirit be at peace. And a joy to share today is gratitude to Mo Lally, who was here first service, not now, for organizing several members of this congregation into a women's pickleball team called the UU Gals. The team played in the Lacey Parks tournament these past several weeks and had a great time. Thank you to Mo for creating community and joy. Let's open our circle wide. For those on Zoom, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen, and it will be shared with Reverend Mary and the pastoral care team. For those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there is something that you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone into the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Let us feel the heartbeat of our community and reach out in love and care to all those who share. Please come forward. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. We will place one more stone in the water for all that we continue to hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed, and may you know yourself beloved.
Let us take a few moments of quiet and reflection together, beginning with some words of prayer. I invite you to take a deep breath, maybe close your eyes and settle into your seat. Relax your shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. Spirit of love and life within us and around us always. In these few moments of quiet and reflection, we ask for clarity. In the comings and goings of our days, may we have eyes to see the manifold blessings that surround us. Even in the midst of trouble and worry, may we have the ears to hear a sweet song of joy. Our lives are often a jumble of worries and treasures. Grant us the clarity to know what is worthy and what is not, what is noble and what is not, and what requires our love. And grant us the presence of mind and heart to give ourselves to what is worthy and true, to give ourselves to what is noble and blessed, and to open our hearts to all that is in need of love. In these few moments at least, may we hold what clarity we have and keep it close as we go forward into our days. Let us pause in stillness together.
I invite you to remain seated while we sing We Would Be One, hymn number 318. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is greater service, with love and justice, strive to make us free.
Today's first reading is from You Can't Be Neutral on a Moving Train by Howard Zinn. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of present moments, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
And our second reading comes from an essay by Rebecca Solnit, The Power of Speech to Shape the Future. She writes, "This is not an argument against fear. It's an argument for clarity about what's a feeling and what's a fact, and a contemplation of how our words shape our world. I've been saying for the last few years with regard to climate, I respect despair as an emotion, but don't confuse it with an analysis. You can feel fear, despair, sorrow, anxiety without surrender. History is full of countless people who have persevered under the grimmest of circumstances, often with heavy hearts and no victory visible on the horizon, or success a wild unlikelihood. Sometimes they lost, but the only ones who won were the ones who stuck with it, or who benefited from someone else doing the work. Here I am arguing for what my friend Roshi Joan Halifax calls wise hope, not foolish optimism. There are times when an honest assessment of this will not work is the beginning of turning toward what possibly will. On the other hand, in my years on the earth, I've seen things declared impossible or unimaginable come to pass, most notably the fall of the Soviet satellite states in 1989. I don't think that even most of the people who toppled those regimes believed they could do it until they did." So I want to start out today with a couple of fun facts. Anybody out there like fun facts? I love fun facts. Many of you doubtless know the stirring words that came from Abraham Lincoln as he spoke at Gettysburg. He said, "Here we highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, for the people, by the people, shall not perish from the earth. Anybody know where those come from other than Lincoln? Yay, I love this. What most folks don't know is that phrase, of the people, by the people, for the people, was spoken at least 3 years earlier at an anti-slavery convention by the Unitarian minister, Theodore Parker. He included the word all in it, of all the people, for all the people, and so on. My understanding is that one of Lincoln's aides was a Unitarian who had heard Parker speak and who likely passed along transcripts of some of his sermons. And I cannot bring up Parker without also mentioning the other quote from his work that is widely known. Anybody know what it is? Oh, I love this. I love giving people fun facts. This is Parker's quote. "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice." We are most familiar with Martin Luther King Jr.'s more elegant paraphrase of it. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Now, here's a third fun fact that ties these two together, and that is that in 2010, a new round rug was commissioned for the Oval Office, and that rug has 5 quotations around the perimeter of it, and both of these are on it. Now, the community of people who know this is relatively small. You're the fourth congregation that's heard this, and I just want to make sure everybody knows about this. I am often cheered to know that we as Unitarian Universalists are, in a very real way, part of the stream of history that brought those ideas to articulations, and that it is woven into our identity as Unitarian Universalists. Now, I am moved to take up this topic as it has occupied an enormous amount of my listening to the news and thinking about the future, and it's hard to avoid this topic, whether or not our democracy, as we know it, will survive this presidential term. And even if it does survive, how we'll have to work to keep it safeguarded in the future. I can't imagine that any of you out there who've had any contact with any news since last November haven't been feeling varying degrees of anxiety about the future of democracy as well. It feels like those images of democracy, the one that Lincoln cribbed and the one that King streamlined into eloquence, are under threat more than they have been in any time in my lifetime. Can I get an amen, friends? Are you there? You're feeling it too. It takes a strong will, I think, not to devolve into catastrophizing in fear that our country will never recover from this presidential term. I know you feel it too. When reading Ari Berman's book a couple years ago, The Right-Wing Attack on the Will of the People and the Fight to Resist It, I was surprised to learn that we here in the United States have been fighting about free and fair elections in one way or another ever since the very beginning. He describes the meeting in 1787 when the delegates from the colonies gathered to write the Constitution that would replace the Articles of Confederation. The first session was opened by the 34-year-old governor of Virginia, Edmund Randolph. Sitting in the room were all of the luminaries of the day: Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, James Madison, just to name a few. Randolph, who oversaw the largest and most powerful colony, in his opening statement noted, "Our chief danger arises from the democratic parts of our constitutions. It is a maxim which I hold incontrovertible, that the powers of the government exercised by the people swallows up all the other branches. None of the constitutions of the colonies have provided sufficient checks against the democracy." He was clear that the government needed to, quote, restrain, if possible, the fury of democracy. The Constitution then was designed to both empower citizens to place the direct power of governmental decision-making in the hands of a Congress that had both equal representation and proportional representation. Now, I think it's safe to say that from the founding until today, and likely as far as we can see into the future, the system has been imperfect and abused by special interests, most particularly by white men with a lot of money. There has never been a golden age of democracy when we lived up to its high ideals and the promises that our best visions of ourselves claim, right? It's just we've never actually been there. Now, I'm not a history buff, but I live with one. And he thankfully confirms and corrects my perceptions of how things have been in the past. That said, in my understanding of history, I don't believe that we've been in any more peril than any other time in history since the Civil War. Do you feel it, friends? Yeah. The level of manipulation of our system of government, from voter suppression and gerrymandering to gaming appointments to the Supreme Court, to the impact of dark money and utterly obvious bribery, has been deeply strategic and has created an imbalance of power that may end government of the people, for the people, by the people. The Republic, if we can keep it, as Benjamin Franklin put it, is under attack. And it's an attack that's been slow rolling since at least the 1990s. 30 years of well-funded and strategic actions from the state level to the Supreme Court has brought us to this place. These may be the most consequential, dangerous, and damaging 4 years of my lifetime. And that's likely true for all of you in this room. And I invite you to breathe. Take a nice deep breath. Let it go. John Kabat-Zinn reminds us to be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion and sacrifice and courage and kindness. Rebecca Solnit aligns with him. She says, on the other hand, in my years on this earth, I've seen things declared impossible or unimaginable come to pass, notably the fall of the Soviet satellite states in 1989. I don't think that even most of the people who toppled those regimes believed that it could and would until they did. On the Sundays after the 2016 and 2024 elections, I said to the congregations I served at the time that the work that we need to do in the world had not changed one bit with the election. But the circumstances had changed, and that we are now being called into a different kind of engagement. So here we are, friends, living in a world that demands that we do more to protect the vulnerable, to reclaim our democracy, and to keep on building that world of which we dream. It is a fearful and a dangerous time, and we need to find the strength to endure these difficult times we're in. I'm reminded that back in the 1980s, when we were afraid of the possibility of nuclear war because of the level of tension between the Soviet Union and the United States, I heard a story that kept floating back to me as I look around these days. The story was that a teacher had asked for a show of hands in her class. Doing it twice is always a little challenging. Let me try that again. A teacher asked for a show of hands in her elementary school class if they were afraid of a nuclear attack. All the children raised their hands, save one. Surprised, the teacher asked that child why their hand was down, and they said, "Because my father is going to meetings to try and stop it." right? The antidote to fear and possible disaster is action. We are not powerless. The reason there has been so much manipulation of our political system is that we are in fact powerful. The visions that enliven our hearts, a country where we continue to strive for something closer to living into equality, where we offer care to the lost and the vulnerable, where everyone contributes to the common good in fair proportion, where we work to save the planet from climate catastrophe. All of these are more broadly shared than the visions that have fueled the manipulations and gaming of our political system these last years. So here's what I have to say to you. In this time, let us be brave. Author A.R. Moxon tells us about what that meant in a Twitter thread from back in 2019. He wrote, "Oh, you want a wall? Yeah, I prefer living a brave life. I don't really need a wall to hide behind. Oh, you want a bathroom law? Yeah, but I'm just not living my life in fear like that. Gay marriage amendment? Why? I'm not scared of gay people. But you are scared. Huh. No, I'm a fan of religious freedom, so I oppose a Muslim travel ban. I actually think it's a really corrosive idea. Sure, terrorists are dangerous, but still I oppose the ban. I don't want to live in fear. You know how it is when you're extra brave. Or maybe you don't. We need to claim our fearlessness, to be bold and lean into making a difference. And remember, we won't always know the difference that we're making. There was a story back in the day during the Nixon administration when there were regular protests for the Vietnam War in Lafayette Park, right across the street from the post office, drove Richard Nixon insane. And so they made a plan to renovate Lafayette Park, and they put plywood up all around the park and closed it off. But nothing was being done behind those walls. It was just to stop the protests, to protect the president from seeing those damn hippies out there with their signs and long hair. When the walls came down, astonishingly, there were no changes. It was all as it had been before. So I say, never doubt that the work that we do is having an impact even if you cannot see that impact. Speak, protest, talk to your neighbors, write to your representatives and senators, or call them. Show up, do it together, and watch for the signs that say that it is not all for naught. And don't forget to pay attention to the rest of the world. Poet Nikita Gill reminds us, everything is on fire. But everyone I love is doing beautiful things and trying to make life worth living. And I know that I don't have to believe in everything, but I believe in that. Those two quotations from Theodore Parker, one that reminds us that the hope of our country and of our democracy is to be of all the people, for all the people, by all the people. And the one that envisions the moral arc of the universe bending towards justice, those statements woven into a rug that has sat in a place of power. And perhaps those words can guide us in these years, guide us through this dangerous time, calling us to act, to make the world that we imagine a world made real. So may it be with us all in the days to come. Let us pause for a few moments of silent reflection.
Let's join together in singing these words by Longfellow from the 19th century. All are architects. Hymn number 288 in the gray hymnal. I invite you to rise and let's sing together. Of fate working in these walls of time, some with massive deeds and great, some with ornaments and rhyme. For the structure that we raise, time is with materials filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks with which we build. Build today then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure, shall tomorrow find its place.
Please be seated. We extinguish our chalice with the words often attributed to Goethe. Whatever you think you can do or believe you can, begin it. Action has magic, grace, and power in it. So let us go from here, bold in our loving and our acting in all the days to come. So may it be. Amen. May you go with joy, may you go with commitment, and may you go with love.